Welcome back to our channels, Warriors. We are still growing 10,400 and climbing on the reg. If you haven't had your tia smash that subscribe button, go and have her smash that right now. This story right here is going to be about the high divorce rate and the high suicide rate in the California Department of Corrections amongst staff members. Okay, I say staff members because I've seen it happen to psychologists, doctors, COs for sure. I've seen it. I've experienced it, right? So why? Why in law enforcement in general? What's happening? What is transpiring? What is driving these high rates? Right? I can only speak from my experience, my perspective, my observations, right, of what may be the leading cause. By now, I have surely explained that correctional peace officers are humans, 100% humans, not robots. Not callous. It may appear callous, and I'm gonna get to that. But yeah, that happens as a survival mechanism, a survival defense of all the trauma and everything encountered that comes with the job, right? So let's start with the divorce rate, okay? Through my experience, my own experience too, the majority are young. Not all, not everyone. The majority are younger that join the department. They may or may not be in a relationship at the time of joining the department. They may or may not be married at the time of the department. When you go to the academy, right, it is like college. I mean, academic-wise, it's like college. 8 to 4, Saturday, Sundays off. It's like, I went for 16 weeks, which was like 4 months in Stockton, California. It was an emptied-out females prison. So we were sleeping in cells. That was crazy. But there's males and there's females there. Man, I think I've established that we're like animals, right? We're like animals, right? Turn on the National Geographic channel, you'll get what I'm saying. So yeah, I mean, you got free time, you're homesick, you are experiencing the same thing as your peers, right? That can embolden relationships, that can build relationships. It does build relationships, right? Boy-girl relationships. Let's keep it real. This channel is real, raw, and uncut. Welcome to the Hector Bravo Show. So, with that being said, if a person was in a marriage prior, now they are interacting with other individuals. Right, if you're catching my drift. Now comes landing at the institution, at the prison. Well, guess what, man? If you're a female, you're going to have about 5,000 hot dogs thrown your way, man. You're going to be ducking, dodging, right? Like, eventually one's going to slap you on the face. No disrespect. But that's the truth. That's what can and often does lead to divorces, right? Don't trip. I'm going to get to the guys. Don't trip. So, it's the truth. Yeah, you can see how that can happen. I don't really got to go into much detail on that, right? It's like high testosterone, high energy, like dead dangerous encounters. So your emotions, your moods, your mind is just like on a roller coaster, right? You got administration stabbing you in the back. You don't like it. It's uncomfortable. It hurts, right? So it's like, nah, I'm cool. I'm cool. I need a buddy. I need a partner. It's like, well, you got one, but doesn't matter. That's not what I'm talking about. Well, that is what I'm talking about. So now, dudes, right? Dudes, same thing. You'll go to you're married, right? You're arguing with the wife, and this is from my experience. I'm not gonna sugarcoat and paint myself like an angel, not in the freaking slightest, right? You're arguing with the wife. You're tired of hearing to throw the damn trash out. You don't want to throw the trash. You tired of looking at the trash. You wish the trash wasn't there, right? It's just that, like, it is building. And on top of that, me personally, responding to alarms, right? Getting in the mix, right? I say getting my hands dirty because you're working, right? It's work, it's prison, right? It's not art where you're drawing on an art board. You're busy. So stress, anxiety. You start working with female partners. You have something in common as far as like, hey, this is. I'm not gonna say this is working, but like you understand me. You understand me, right? Not that dudes need to be understood, right? Because we ain't soft like that. We ain't built like that. But I'm painting the picture of how that can just boil over. And I'm sure I used to work at a gym, so I know it happens at other places. But the propensity for divorces in law enforcement, specifically prison, seems to be why the high stress environment coupled with close proximities of the opposite sex. Plain and simple, period, blank, right? Black and white, that's it. Next thing you know, divorce papers are getting filed, custody battles from hell. I've seen it, man. I've had coworkers show. I was a young CO, and ADSEG A5, standing in front of A5 at Centinela, and one of the homies showed me his paycheck with the deductions after child support and spousal support, alimony. I swear to God, the dude was only bringing like 400. It was like $600 home at the end of the day after all those charges were taken out, right? It was a sight to be seen. It's kind of a learning lesson, right? So, and we get paid bank, right? So damn, she's Louis Vuitton purse, right? Uggs, Tiffany's, the whole nine, the whole works, right? So that's how divorces can and does happen. High rate, extremely high rate. Staff suicide kind of goes hand to hand with divorces, getting fired, the stress, man, the stress. I once took the crazy thing is about the department is they have IST training, block training, where you do your annual remedial training, like your baton training, your pepper spray training, your firearms shooting qualification. They have an inmate suicide prevention class. That class is 2 hours. They never used to have a staff suicide prevention class at all. So it was a 2 hours of the 2 hours of the inmate suicide prevention, no staff suicide prevention. Then the department decided to hook us up, do us a favor. They gave us 1 hour. So you have 2 hours to focus on the inmate suicide prevention and 1 hour to supposedly focus on ours, right? Even stuff like that just used to be like, man, you guys, they don't get it, right? Sacramento doesn't get it. One of those classes, one of the psychologists, this was at RJD, I was like a sergeant. She said, and this was during the inmate suicide prevention class. She said that the high rate for inmate suicides is because imagine their whole life is a cup. They've experienced trauma, 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 and now that cup is filled up. Well, there's no more room. There's no more room for trauma. And so when it goes and it overflows, that's, can potentially lead to the suicide attempts and or suicide. And it like a light bulb went off, just in comparison to myself and the trauma that I've endured, right? In the military, in the army, and in the Department of Corrections. Murders, stabbings, riots. And at that point, it clicked. It made sense. Like I could see how you can experience so much that's a wrap. Like that's it. Some people just, take that route. Some people do that, right? And I'm not minimizing that. Is definitely something that needs to be explored more and touched upon. I will give the department credit. They did start this like True Grit. What was the other one? The other one was correctional fatigue class. That brought out that kind of made it okay to talk about like with your partners. Man, I'm going through this. This is what I'm experiencing, and I do encourage that. But I need, if I can give advice, if I may say so myself, there were certain topics I never talked about at work. One is finances. The other one is like relationships, and I forgot what the other one is. But like you don't, especially if you're a female, the last thing you want to do is go around and tell somebody, "Oh, I'm not getting along with my husband. We're gonna get a divorce." You're just gonna open Pandora's box. Boom, literally. People are gonna talk. Oh, hey, so and so is on the outs. She's on the market. Boom, and that's a wrap. Somebody's gonna hook. Somebody's gonna throw their little line out and hook. Right? It's just, how do you know this, Hector? How do you know this? Who you been talking to? And I made a video a few videos past, right? And everybody automatically put that shoe on their own foot. Well, let me tell you something. Don't flatter yourself. This goes on at every single prison, I've seen it over 100 times, right? Not speaking about anybody in general. Seen it thousands of times. Thousands, right? So, imagine you show up to a job, right, where the inmate population, I've also established that not every inmate is out there to, make your life a living hell. But you do got to conduct yourself. It's prison, man. You better be on alert, 100%. Don't get caught slipping. Straight up, don't get caught slipping. So, the stress of not getting caught slipping, right? Your blood pressure, your anxiety, your stress, your wife telling you to throw out the trash, right? You tell her, I don't want to throw out the trash. You got your coworker that you find attractive, right? You guys are clicking. Well, next thing you know, you shack up with old girl. Your wife leaves you for the neighbor, right? Tyrone, now you're screwed. You're absolutely screwed, right? Then you get in an altercation at work. You get into a use of force incident. Now you're under investigation by an acting warden that's trying to prove himself to Sacramento. It's like you're seeing, man, I'm exposing gold to you guys. You're seeing the process here. And you're just like, holy shit, man. That Coronado Bridge ain't looking so bad right now. Right? Like, you just lost your wife, you lost your job, and you're about to lose the pad, right? And come to find out, the girl you hooked up with was also hooking up with 5 of your homies. Oh my God, no. Right? It's like, I'm not going to say why wouldn't you, but you can easily see how that can drive somebody to the max, right? To the ultimate finale, to the ultimate end game, right? Like finale. Damn. So yeah, you guys can see that, man. And I feel like I've become callous, that I make This has also affected me. This has also affected me in my own relationship because, like, I dropped the video yesterday on a correctional officer that was murdered in the line of duty, right? And I'm able to speak like level headed about this. I'm able to speak on a playing field like this. The reason why is because that incident happened in 2005. 2005. You have to understand that in the year 2004, September 10, 2004 to be exact, my mom's birthday, oh man, my brother got killed by a roadside bomb while we were out on patrol together. I did, in fact, have to carry his body to the helicopter, carry our wounded brothers to the helicopter. This was at the age of 19, the young age of 19. So I was already doing this. I was already dragging deceased friends off of the battlefield, so to say. That was just that incident. I can't even tell you about the rest of all the carnage that transpired. Me having experienced a lot, makes it tough, almost impossible to relate to my spouse, show any type of compassion, show any type of sensitivity, right? This is also from doing the job of a prison guard for 16 years. You are not going to start crying and making a scene when you're cutting an inmate down that had just hung himself, right? An inmate that's blue, bloated, vomit on the floor, you're doing CPR, you're dragging his heavy body out. You're not going to break down crying. You're not going to do that. It's going to affect you. It's going to affect you, right? In the ways I just explained. So that is why. So what can be done, right? What can be done? Hector, just don't give us a problem. Give us an answer. Give us a solution, please. Right? Brothers, sisters lives are on the line. Well, if Sacramento's listening, what is within your control? What is within your control is to pull your wardens. You guys already do a wardens meeting up at Sacramento often. You tell them, hey man, I'm not looking for you guys to fire people. I'm not looking for you guys to impress me. I'm looking for you guys to operate your institutions at a capacity at which it is successful as it can be, right? To ensure the safety, security of all inmates, all staff, and of the institution, right? Public safety. You know, I got word that a good friend of mine, really good, solid cop, got fired last week. And it's just never ending, man. It's never ending. By an acting warden, right? By an acting warden that I knew when he was a sergeant. It's like, hey, not every offense is fireable. Like, you don't got to go for the nine on the matrix. You don't got to go for the juggler. Like, that's the problem with working at RJD. This has to fix too. This has to immediately fix. I already told you guys, every time there's a new warden in a chair, they're automatically entering an acting capacity, right? So what do? I've seen this 1,000 times. They fire people. They fire people to show Sacramento and the headquarters that, hey, look, we're on board. We're on board. We're sacrificing, right? We're sacrificing the lamb. Promote me. Take the little A of acting off. Well, the problem with working at RJD is at Donovan, that prison is such a beast, such a monster, that nobody can handle it. Nope. I walked away because I chose not to handle it. That none of those wardens can handle it. So they do about 1 year max. Guess what that means? That means every year you have a new acting buffoon sit in that chair and starts cleaning house. Boom, chopping off heads. Cleaning house, chopping off heads. Cleaning house, chopping off heads. It's relentless. Nobody lets up. You can't let up off the gas. Imagine the stress, right? Nobody comes to work for that. right? When we swore in and we wanted to protect protect, serve, whatever you want to call it, it sure wasn't to come around and to feed somebody's ego, to be part of somebody's agenda, to be a stepping stool. It wasn't that, man. So fix it. Fix it. The message for today is if you are suffering, if you think you're suffering, if you are experiencing marriage, I'm the last guy that should be giving you marriage advice. That's for 100% sure. But seek outside resources, man. Go to there's EAP, there's marriage counseling, there's a VA. Just call your brother, an entrusted brother or sister. Call them. Check on them constantly. Keep pushing forward.